going on, everyone? Welcome back to this week's episode of Outside the Arena with Rob and Griff. I'm Griff and Senek, joined by my co-host Rob Goldberger. And if you're new here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We've been doing a lot of fun content, doing these NBA videos, talking about the NBA playoffs have been doing very well. So make sure to subscribe if you're new. Drop a like on the video. If you haven't already, go check out. I did an interview with MLB vet this past week, Cliff Floyd. So go check that out if you haven't already. Very good sit-down interview. There's timestamps. I'm going to try and keep doing that with all these videos. So if you are watching and want to skip ahead to a certain topic, it's easier than just having to find it. But with that being said, we're here. We're going to be talking some NBA. We're also going to talk a little NFL free agency. We haven't really covered the last few guys, major guys who have signed. So we're going to kind of talk about those last few guys. But we'll start today, and we're going to start with the series that is through 3 games already. Obviously, the Warriors and Mavericks, when we're filming this, are set to tip off in like 20 minutes. So in all likelihood, if you're seeing this video, that game is probably finished, or at least the majority of the way through. But Miami and Boston, I mean, it's a hard-fought series so far. Miami up 2-1. It really looked like in Game 3, Miami was on the verge of potentially blowing this, but they pushed through. Obviously, Jimmy Butler went out in this game. He was injured. It seems like he might be able to play Game 4. And then obviously for Boston, without Rob Williams, Marcus Smart, left the game for a little bit. Was it Tatum that left for a little bit too? He was a little hurt or something. He didn't play. He played garbage to begin with. I mean, I'll let you start this one off. I mean, obviously, this series right now, Miami. I mean, Miami's been a team that I know we both were, a little skeptical on coming into the playoffs. They've proved us wrong, and I mean, really, Jimmy Butler's been the reason why. I mean, this guy so far. I mean, besides Luke, there's a legitimate case, I guess, right now for the way he has been playing up to Game 3. Obviously, he got hurt, but that he's the best player right now in these playoffs, the way he's playing. I mean, what are your thoughts on this series so far? I know you're a big Boston guy. Do you think Boston will still ultimately prevail, or do you think Miami might be able to pull this one off?
I mean, I just think it's all. Yeah, I mean, I think Jimmy is expected to play in Game 4, but so I think the question shifts to, can Boston stay healthy? So I mean, these guys they just haven't been able to stay healthy throughout the whole playoffs. I mean, Rob Williams has obviously been dealing with that with his knee injury for an extended period of time. It wouldn't surprise me if he had, some sort of procedure done in the offseason. But yeah, I mean, look, after Game 2, I got to be honest, I thought the series was done. I really did. And Miami just Miami looked like they were going to blow it at a ton of points yesterday. Boston got it. I think it was they got it within 14 with 10 minutes left in the second half, or 7 maybe. And it just looked like Miami was going to be done. But I mean, Eric Spoelstra at the end of the day is such an elite coach. He really is. I mean, I feel like the mentality his teams have is always very elite. I mean, like you said, getting a win in Boston without your best player playing the whole second half really is something. I mean, I really was shocked. I'm just being honest, I was shocked because I kind of expected Boston to win every single game of the rest of the series. It's certainly both games at home. I mean, because they looked like it's just clear how important Rob Williams is to this team. And I don't know, man. I mean, Boston really needed that game, I feel like. And Miami's got all the momentum. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see Miami win the series at this point, which I'm not, would have surprised me to say 2 days ago.
I think that, Jimmy Butler, one thing about him is that, this guy is consistently, I think, being underrated. I think that, every year, people kind of forget about him. People kind of overlook him. People kind of overlook this team. And, I understand it. This team, isn't the most flashy on paper. Is Jimmy Butler really one of the most elite players? Probably not. But I mean, the way he's playing, he absolutely is. But this team's just got a lot of quality ball players. I mean, ball players. It sounds like the MLB. Quality basketball players. I mean, Kyle Lowry, obviously he's been very injured, but when he's out there, he's a solid player. Oladipo, Oladipo a few years ago was a guy that, was an all-star caliber player. You've got, PJ.
Yeah, he's been Oladipo has been huge defensively in this series.
And obviously Bam Adebayo, who was kind of the hero in this game, he really stepped up. Obviously not against Robert Williams, which obviously would be a much tougher matchup, but I mean, this Miami Heat team is no joke. And I think for Boston, I'm going to be honest. I mean, Jason Tatum, he's got to play better. Jason Tatum, this is the one thing about him that's kind of been a little bit, we've seen a few times now from him in the playoffs is he just doesn't show up at times. And that's kind of a problem. I mean, 3 for 14 shooting, 1 for 7 from 3, 10 points. That's not going to fly as the best player. And obviously, Jaylen Brown picked him up a little bit with his 40 burger, and Al Horford dropped 20. But at the end of the day, they lost this game. And were there a lot of reasons why? Sure. I mean, Marcus Smart going down sucked. Guys were injured. But Jason Tatum, 10 points is not acceptable at the end of the day. And if Boston wants to win this series, he's going to have to play like the superstar that he is. And, 10 points isn't going to cut it, especially, Jimmy Butler only dropped 8 points and Miami still won. So definitely an alarming game for Boston. I think this is much more of a series than people expected. Obviously, game 4, if Miami wins that game, I think the series is over. I think most people would agree. But we will see a pivotal game coming up for Boston. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen with this series?
Yeah, I think the issue with the Celtics is just they can't stop turning the ball over. Like, the turnovers have been an issue all playoffs for them too, even against the Nets, even though they swept that series. The
23 the other day. Insane.
Yeah, not good enough. You're right. Like, Jason Tatum, I feel like when he's bad, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, like when he's bad, I feel like he's horrible. Like, there's no in between. I feel like he's either unbelievably good or like he's horrible. And he's mostly unbelievably good, which is why he's, a top 7-8 player in the NBA. But when he has these awful games, he's definitely top 7 or 8 this year, especially.
I don't know.
Give me 7 ahead of him right now. Let's see.
Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, LeBron James, Giannis, Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic.
And then I'd say he's right there.
Really? You'd say he's right there?
Yeah.
I just got to think of this isn't like
Steph, I guess, is in that combo.
Steph is in the conversation. Devin Booker's in that conversation.
He's way better than Devin Booker. Way better than Devin Booker.
I don't know, man. Devin Booker had a pretty good year.
Jason Tatum. Come on.
Let me look up the top NBA, because now I whenever I start ranking people, I always forget people. So I want to look.
Yeah, you got to have the list in front of you.
Yeah, I got to have a list in front of me.
Just for the content.
Joel, Katie, Giannis, LeBron, Jokic, Doncic. Jason Tatum's probably right there, 8 or 9 from what I'm seeing. I think that's accurate. I think him and Steph are probably fighting for that 7 spot. So he's top 8 guy, you could say, sure.
All right, but yeah, I mean, look, I just feel like he's got to find a way to mitigate these nights where he's going 4 for 19, with 7 turnovers. I feel like
he's got to be productive in some way. Yeah, he can't just be.
Yeah, he's a very good defensive player, but I feel like at a certain point, Miami's just getting whatever they wanted. I mean, the biggest issue for Boston though is Robert Williams' health, because Bam Adebayo isn't taking 22 shots if Robert Williams is guarding him. Like, that's just the simple fact of the matter. I mean,
yeah,
you can frame it any way you want, but that's the case. I mean, look, we'll see, but I think Boston is in big trouble if Robert Williams can't play the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think that we will see, obviously.
Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the league. Let me just say that. That dude is a hell of a coach.
Yeah. I mean, this Miami team, they've got a lot of good players. I'm going to be honest. I just think I'm going to switch over to the Western Conference. I think the Golden State Warriors are winning the NBA Finals. I think they're the best team left right now. I mean, this team is just Dallas, just a horrific choke. I mean, they're up 14 at half, and they just totally collapse. I mean, Luka, obviously 42 points. He did his best. Reggie Bullock had 21, Brunson 31, but
I feel like a lot of that came at the end of the game, sort of when the game was already, kind of decided.
Spencer Dinwiddie had 4 points.
Look, just not enough guys outside of Luke. And it was really It was really a shooting disaster class for the Mavericks in the second half of that game. They couldn't hit a shot. That they hit 12 15 threes in the first half, and then they just were really cold in that second half. I mean, look, the Mavs are a second star away. Everybody knows this. Once Luka gets a legitimate second star, they're going to be very scary. And They also have Tim Hardaway Jr., who's arguably their second best player when he's healthy, hurt. So that's another, he's another guy who could ship this series. He hasn't played since January, which makes it all the more impressive what Luke and the Mavs are doing. But they need a second star. We've said it on this podcast for a while. They're not going to, I don't think, be able. Look, they were down 2-0 to the Suns too, though. We'll see. Tonight is obviously, the make or break.
I just think this Warriors team, I think the difference between the Warriors, I mean, there's obviously many differences between the Warriors and the Suns, but I just think the experience is just Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and these guys, they've just been here so many times at this point. I mean, these guys are just, as Rob whips out the homework.
That's guys, not, I was making sure that it was, yeah.
I was messing with you.
Nah, yeah, I was making, yeah.
But, these guys have just been here and they're not worried about, they're not under pressure. And, I think that, these guys are just clutch at the end of the day. And we saw with the Phoenix Suns, I mean, we saw in that game 7, I mean, it was just a total collapse. No one has clutch in their jeans. They're just a total choke show. I mean, it was just embarrassing.
Yeah.
To be honest, their championship window is probably out the door. I don't think that team is good enough to win a championship right now, especially,
that current iteration of the team, I would say for sure is out the door, because I don't think DeAndre Ayton is a Phoenix Sun next year.
No, he'll get his, whether he should get his money or not is a different issue. Will he get it from one team? Yes. And should Phoenix pay him? Probably not.
And I think that team might just end up being the Dallas Mavs, funny enough.
I don't even know if I'd like that, though, for them. I mean, it'd be good, but I don't think that's the piece they're missing. But regardless, I mean, I think that this series, obviously tonight, is a pivotal game. If Dallas goes down, it's over. But Luka Doncic is exceptional, and we'll see what happens. I mean, this game, game 2 was really going Dallas's way. It really seemed like they would, be able to pull it out. So they just got to avoid the collapse. They've been here before. They're, a clutch team. We're going to see what happens. But this Golden State team, I mean, Kevon Looney, man, I mean, this guy is just, he's becoming a stud, man. It's insane. I mean, this guy was like a joke a few years ago. I mean, you kind of, you would look at this guy on the roster on the floor and be like, oh, who is this bum they have out there playing with KD, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green? And all of a sudden, he's become a young star. So, well, I guess he's not that young. How old?
He's 26. He's 26.
Yeah, so it took a little time, but I mean, this guy's a good player, and I believe he's free agent in the offseason, so he's going to get his bag.
Just an elite role player. The definition of an elite role player, for sure.
Very good player. I mean, this Golden State team, I've said it all throughout. Their depth is just every player in their rotation is a legitimate player. I mean, you just look at this team. They're young guys like Moses Moody. This dude was a stud at Arkansas.
Yeah.
Kuminga obviously was, one of the highest prospects. He's hurt right now, but I'm just saying in general. I mean, Wiseman obviously was a top 3 pick. He's obviously been out, but like they just got all these guys.
Imagine if they didn't blow the Wiseman pick, though. Imagine if they didn't completely blow the Wiseman pick.
Imagine this team had LaMelo Ball. I don't even know how that would work.
Nah, it would work though. People are like, it wouldn't work. I feel like it would definitely work. Like I think like
I feel like they would maybe just part with Klay, because Klay at this point is obviously not the same guy he once was.
LaMelo and Jordan, handing the keys from Steph and Klay to LaMelo, Jordan Ball, and LaMelo and Jordan Poole.
Yeah, well, Steph's not quite done yet. Steph's still got a pretty penny, and Steph. I mean, he played a great game. So
he did. But I'm just saying, eventually.
I love Dallas. Obviously, this is, I think, both of us, for us, the team we wanted to see win.
Yeah.
I think Golden State's going to win this in 5, if I'm being honest, though. I think 5 games will be. You think 6?
Yeah, I'd say 6. I'll say 6. I'll give the Mavs 2 games.
I think Dallas will get 1. I just think Golden State's another beast at the end of the day. We'll see.
I just hope whoever the West representative beats whoever the East representative is at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm just like if the finals is like Warriors Heat, is anyone really that excited? I feel like that's just like,
yeah, the Warriors would sweep them probably.
We keep
Oh,
saying
here
that
I am.
though.
Here I am saying that. Here I am saying that.
We said that like we said the Hawks might mess up the Heat, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
we're here, and the Heat are up 2-1 on
Yeah.
Boston. So
It's true.
maybe you got to go the opposite way. Say the Celtics are getting swept, and then
I mean, yeah.
you
hopefully.
maybe the Heat are they're just
I'd
they're
rather-
watching the podcast and they're fired up.
I don't know. That it's clear. Jimmy Butler watches the podcast for motivation.
Yeah, Jimmy
It's
Butler.
clear.
I mean, that dude. If Jimmy Butler right now, he's something, man. I mean, obviously we'll see how he plays with the injury, but he has been on another level in these playoffs. That's for sure. All right. I think with that, we're going to transition to the NFL. And, we've seen actually a good bit of movement in free agency. We haven't really talked about the NFL since the draft. But there's been 4 guys, notably, that we're going to talk about. 2 have signed with New Orleans, Tyrann Mathieu. And I believe it was like a 3-year, $33 million deal.
Yeah, it's a lot of
shocked at how I
Yeah.
thought it wasn't that much. I thought he'd get more.
No, but for the longevity, I didn't know about 3 years, 33.
What is he,
Would've been-
28, 29?
He's like 30, isn't he? I mean, he could be
I
29.
don't think he's that. I don't think he's that old. Let's see. I think he's like 28. 30, wow. All right, 3
Yeah.
years is, that is something.
For a
I didn't
safety?
realize-
Yeah.
What was his contract he was on before? So he must have gotten his real bag then. Just curious, sorry.
No, you're good. Of course, I want to. Yeah.
Very curious. Can I see past career earnings? So he made 14 million this past year. Okay, so he made his big money then. Interesting. All right. So we saw him sign with New Orleans. We also saw Jarvis Landry sign with New Orleans. Which honestly, not as a fantasy wise and just in general, I was kind of disappointed. Like I wanted to really see Chris Olave and Michael Thomas get the bulk of the weapons, but I mean that trio is. We'll talk about the Saints, but obviously the Eagles went out and signed James Bradberry, and then the Cleveland Browns re-signed Jadeveon Clowney, which Ian Rappaport. Stay tuned for Ian, ladies and gentlemen. That should be
little promo, little promo.
Little, I don't know. I stay tuned if you want to see some rap sheet. But he reported that Clowney really wanted to stay in Cleveland, and he turned down multiple multi-year deals of in the range of 14 and 15 million per year, which I don't believe for 1 second.
I don't think that text came directly from Jadeveon Clowney's agent.
It must
Copy
have,
and
just
paste.
to yeah.
With all due respectfully, Ian, respectfully, we understand the game.
I was like, I don't think I'm all for him staying in Cleveland. I'm happy that the Browns got the deal done, but if a dude can make more $1 million, you got to go set up your family at the end of the day. But he's back in Cleveland. You want to start with Bradberry?
Yeah.
I mean,
excited.
the Eagles have had a great offseason, the by far the best in the NFC East. I mean, we've seen kind of these other the Dallas Cowboys really have gotten worse. The Giants, they didn't really have much cap. They had a really good draft. The Giants, good first round. I mean, after that, they didn't do too much that was flashy. But and then Washington obviously traded for Wentz. But the Eagles right now they're poised to potentially compete for that division title with Dallas, potentially win it. I mean, what are your thoughts on Bradberry? I mean, obviously they needed a guy opposite Darius Slay. They chose not to draft a cornerback in the first round of the NFL draft, and you land James Bradberry to pair opposite Darius Slay. And this Philadelphia Eagles team really is. This team they look very good everywhere. It all depends on Jalen Hurts now. And
look, Jalen Hurts has zero excuses. I mean, the safety position is a little weak, but I don't really care about it that much. Like, we're really good at almost at a lot of positions on that defense. And look. The Philadelphia Eagles have had two good corners at the same time in 20 years. With James Bradberry for $7.5 million, I just love it. I mean, it's exactly what I wanted. I'm glad he chose us. I wonder if the 11 other teams report is true. I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of teams in for him, but I do believe that he probably chose from three finalists in the end. I'm just excited, man. I'm excited that we have that type of draw now. I'm excited that apparently Jeffrey Lurie has stepped back because there was a report around this time last year that he had taken
like major Jerry Jones type control in the organization, and now he's sort of like letting Howie do his thing, which is good. I'm happy about that. But yeah, as you said, it's all contingent on Jalen Hurts. I'm not expecting, a Super Bowl or anything like that. I'm not a Super Bowl or bust or anything, but I'd like to see us, win a playoff game, make some progress from last year. And I am expecting a division title this year. I really am. And I look, and the reason I say that is because the Philadelphia Eagles really do have an incredibly weak schedule. If you really look at their schedule, they should. Remind me of the exact teams group, but I believe they should really go like 4-0 to open the season. I just think that schedule could really help them out over the Cowboys. I mean, obviously you don't know anything, but
Lions, Vikings would be it's a little tough.
At home on a Monday night versus Kirk Cousins. Monday night Kirk Cousins. It's a guaranteed
That's
W.
True. Commanders, Jags.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they got the Steelers in there, the Texans.
Terrible, Billy. We got
the Titans are bad, to be honest. The Bears.
Got the Commies twice, the Giants twice.
Yeah. What's the Cowboys schedule? We haven't even talked about the schedule. I mean, we'll probably pencil that in and kind of preview it next week, I would say.
Yeah. Look, I'm just excited about what the Eagles team are doing. I'm glad we're showing some ambition. Look, I mean, it's just all contingent on Jalen. It really is. I don't have anything else to say, but we put ourselves in a very good position. The only thing I will say though is that I hope he works out, because his contract is saving us a lot of money right now, and that's what's enabling us to do what we're doing. But yeah, it's a place to be right now, and I'm excited that we're building something. And I'm glad that we never seem to be that bad for too long, which is good as a football fan, because there's some franchises that never win anything ever. Like
the two I support.
Yeah, you might be a fan of a couple of them, but the Jaguars, for example, pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, I'm just glad we're going to be competitive. I'm glad we're trying to be competitive. And just to touch on the State signings, doesn't surprise me. 2 LSU guys coming home.
We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that. I just want to real quick. I mean, Philly, I think, I'm looking at this Dallas schedule right now. They got the Bucks, the Bengals, the Rams, the Packers on here. It's a tough schedule. I think that the Eagles right now, I mean, I would say that Jalen Hurts is as crazy as it is, I mean, it's not that crazy, but I think he's on the hottest seat for a quarterback right now.
Yeah, unquestionably.
Because, you look at a guy like Daniel Jones, I mean, it's a very hot seat, but I feel like everyone expects that it's probably done almost regardless of what happens at the end of the year. Unless
he's the MVP.
Unless he really shows something, it's probably done. So, I look at a guy like a Ryan Tannehill, he's kind of on the hot seat now with Malik Willis there. There's a
Marcus
few other
Mariota.
Guys.
It's
not really that even hot seat, because he's like not that good.
He'll be replaced by week 6.
It's not that hot of a seat, but I think Philadelphia's got a heck of a roster. Wide receiver, Devonta Smith and they traded for AJ Brown. Sorry, I forgot. I was thinking of who they drafted. I was like, they traded for AJ Brown. Yeah, I mean, everywhere you look on this team right now, the O line's pretty good. The receiver room's good. Tight end, running back. I mean, it's a very good team. It's going to depend on Jalen Hurts, and we've seen this guy win the Eagles games before, and we've seen him. I mean, it sounds stupid, but we've seen him lose games for the Eagles, and at the end of the day, it's going to be like the quarterback. Obviously, is the most important position, but when he really gets out of his way and blows games. I mean, we've seen Jalen Hurts do that. So we'll see. Is he good enough to lead a Super Bowl? It's unclear. It's honestly unclear. I don't think it is. I know you don't think he's good enough to win. Do I think he's on the level of any of these top tier guys? No. So that probably means they're going to have to look elsewhere. But where does that mean they have to go after a Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or it's kind of weird, because it's like, I don't know if there's another guy. Like this offseason, we obviously saw Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson traded. Like those are 2 guys who are in that category. I don't know if there's going to be another one of those guys that's available next offseason that the Eagles could jump after. So I mean, I guess you have to look at Bryce Young and CJ Stroud or the other quarterbacks, but I mean, we'll see. It's definitely very interesting. But this offseason was so crazy because those two guys, like you saw what it took to get them, but it's like it puts the Browns and the Broncos in a spot where they can legitimately compete for a Super Bowl because they have those guys, So we'll see. Yeah, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just all on Jalen, man. And the Eagles just haven't had like a reliable QB for so long. I feel like just want him to be the guy. I want him to be the guy. I just don't think he is. To make it abundantly clear.
I think he might have a good season, and they still might say he's not good enough.
Yeah, I feel like Seattle would like give up assets for him too. I think a team like Seattle, I should say.
Seattle's weird. Who knows what they're doing, to be honest.
Drew Lock. I feel like Baker will be starting there by the time the season starts.
I hope the Browns can just get anything for Baker Mayfield. Just anything. Let's get him going. Well, I don't want to talk. We'll talk about the Browns last. I mean, the New Orleans Saints, I'm very interested by this team. Oh, fuck. I just got scared by a little bug here. He just kind of was crawling up and goodness gracious, it's late for this. The New Orleans Saints, man, I mean, this team is it's legit, if we're being honest. I mean, they've lost a lot of guys, is I think the problem. I mean, they lost Tron Armstead. Marcus Williams, they replaced with the Honey Badger. So, take that as it is. But this team is going to be good. I mean, Jameis Winston obviously has come back. He was good there when he was starting. You've got Kamara. You got, supposedly on paper you have Michael Thomas. Who knows if he'll actually be on the field? You never know with that guy right now. But you've now got instead of Marquez Callaway, the local track star, from the New Orleans, YMCA. You've got Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave now there. So that's huge for them.
New head coach, though.
They do have a new head coach. Obviously, Sean Payton is gone. But we'll see, we'll see what happens. I think Sean Payton's still going to be involved in that franchise one way or another. But what do you think? I mean, I think that obviously you got to look at the Bucks and with Brady say that's. I mean, it looks like also Gronk's retiring from what everything he says. Who knows? But
he'll probably end up playing, to be honest.
Yeah, who knows? He's probably just enjoying himself right now. I mean, I don't think they can win the division, but I think that they're a playoff team. I mean, what about you? I think they've had a really good offseason. And these two moves are good veteran moves that really I think can. I mean, I think it's their wide receiver room. I mean, talk about a transformation from this year to last. I mean, obviously injury hurt last year, but what a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another team that's it's all reliant on the QB. If he can be solid, then that's a good team. But look, I don't really have any faith in Jameis, to be honest, to lead a playoff caliber team. And they'll probably make the playoffs because they're the Saints. They have a ton of experience. They're a good franchise, but I don't really see them doing anything, to be honest, because I don't really believe in Jameis. I think I know what Jameis is coming off an ACL tear. But yeah, I mean, look, they have found Jarvis Landry to me is still a solid wide receiver, but he's just not that same guy he was at all.
But as a third wide receiver.
Yeah, but like you said, but what is Michael Thomas going to be? Is he going to remain healthy? Is Chris Olave legit? I know you think he is. We'll see. I think he's probably going to be a really good NFL wide receiver as well, but obviously it's his first year. I think it's just going to be – Jameis will be fine, but like I said, he's not going to – I think you touched on it too. He's just not going to be good enough to compete with those Bucks and the big boys at the top of the conference, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they'll be a Super Bowl contending team by any means. I just think that, they're a team that I expected to be in the playoffs and will be better than last year. I mean, they were good. I mean, they had their moments. I think that, their defense is really interesting. I think Marshawn Lattimore is, one of the better corners. They obviously got Cam Jordan, guys like that. They give teams trouble on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see what happens.
Including the Bucks, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucks, they have the Bucks number. They do, and then Tom Brady in the playoffs.
They did. But then Thomas, Brady's the GOAT. So yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess Cleveland, Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, this was I saw this kind of coming. I really didn't expect them to leave Cleveland, especially after they cleared up all that cap space with the Deshaun Watson and Denzel Ward extensions, which somehow saved them like so much money. It's so the NFL cap is just
It's weird. It's very
so
weird.
weird.
I don't
But
really think I want to spend any time like trying to figure it out either.
yeah, I don't think it's figure outable, to be honest. But I mean, Clowney, he really played well like, opposite Myles Garrett. I think this is a necessary move for the Browns. I think that D line, they still need help on the interior. I really would like to see them go out and bring in an Ndamukong Suh. They still have the cap for that on a 1-year deal. I think that'd be a heck of a move. They've been linked to him as a bunch of other teams have, but I think for the Browns, I mean, on paper, they've got a good team. I mean, I'm worried about wide receiver. I think outside of Amari Cooper, we need to see someone step up. Donovan Peoples-Jones has, had his moments. They drafted David Bell out of Purdue, who,
Sorry, I'm laughing at Donovan. Yeah, I like Donovan Peoples-Jones too, but I don't know if he's a legitimate.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he's the number 2 guy. It's a little scary, but David Bell, I've heard a lot of good things about him. We'll see with that wide receiver room. I think right now that and the linebackers. I'm still kind of sketched out outside of JOK of that linebacking group, but I don't know. What do you think about the Browns right now? I mean, it seems like that with the quarterback. I mean, who knows what the suspension situation will be? It seems like Deshaun will be able to play. Maybe he'll get like suspended for the first quarter, half of the year, or something like that. But
yeah, I think the Browns might be in a little bit of trouble if that's the case, though, because who are they going to get to play quarterback?
Well, they have Jacoby Brissett on the roster. Look, this is the early season Browns schedule is their first 4 games: Carolina, New York Jets, Pittsburgh Steelers, Atlanta Falcons. Jacoby Brissett can win.
You could maybe win a game.
games.
No, you could maybe win a game. I'm kidding. I don't. Yeah, look.
It doesn't even. Does Jacoby Brissett? All he has to do is hand the ball to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, though, in those games.
Jacoby Brissett is terrible, though.
I'm not saying he's bad, but like he's serviceable. Like you can plug him in and make. He's fine. I don't think he'll be throwing the ball to begin with in that game, though. Like
I would say like Jalen Hurts is serviceable, and Jacoby Brissett is like in his own tier of Jacoby Brissett.
Well, what? I think that the Browns, though, are a team where we've seen with Baker, like they're able to win with a trash QB at times because they can just run the football, and that's all that matters. Obviously, with Deshaun, they're going to have that's the whole point of having Deshaun. You have a whole new. You actually have a quarterback, and Amari, I think, will be great, but we'll see. I mean, I think that if Deshaun, I mean, that's one thing though about the Browns, like. They really need Deshaun to not be suspended for those 4 games because if Deshaun's playing, they could start the season 4-0, which would be huge for them. I mean, in all realness, they'll probably lose one of those games, but I mean, I think they'll beat the Jets. I think they'll beat the Falcons. Carolina, I don't think is very good. Pittsburgh, rookie quarterback in Cleveland. I genuinely believe that we'll see, but I'm kind of getting away from the Clowney signing. I mean, what do you think? What is your thoughts on the Browns right
now? Yeah, I mean, this year they play in such a tough division. So it's like if Deshaun misses any time, an extended period of time, it's just going to be really tough for them to rebound and recover, get in pole position for.
It depends how long he misses. Because if he's out those 4 games, they might be able to survive. But like, after that, Falcons, after that, 10 games, they're screwed. But even like 6 or 7 games, like after that, they've got Chargers, Patriots, Ravens, Bengals. Like you need Deshaun for those 4.
If he's out for 10 games, I think that's their season probably punted away.
Wow, I feel the Browns schedule, man, after those 4 games, Chargers, Patriots, Ravens, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills, Bucks.
They could go over. It's possible.
If Jacoby's in there, they're not winning a game in that stretch. No.
But I thought you're not I thought you were a Jacoby Brissett believer.
I'm a Jacoby Brissett believer when the teams they're playing are trash. And they can just run that's the thing with the Browns, I guess, that like they can just run the football. So at the end of the day, that they'll be able to compete in any game. It will depend on how the defense plays. But what do you think? Do you think let's say Deshaun Watson's healthy, or not healthy, but is able to play. Let's just live in a hypothetical world. He's probably going to get suspended for some point in time. What do you think, the Browns? Like, where do you think they're ranked? Do you think they're Super Bowl contenders? What do you think?
I don't call them Super Bowl contenders, but I'd call them like a very, very good team that could win 11 to 12 games with Deshaun and QB. But I still think there are like 3 teams better than them definitively in the AFC. And those are the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bucks still. And still the Chiefs. I know they got weaker, but to me, just having Mahomes is always going to put that.
Who was the third team you mentioned?
Chiefs, Bills, and Chargers. I might have said Bucks. Chargers. Okay. Chiefs, Bills, and Chargers. To me are just all better. I mean, I'm just very interested in the Chargers and what they're gonna look like. But
I'm very interested in them too. I mean, I think that they are fascinating. I mean, they've just not been able to get in the playoffs these last few years. They've had good teams on paper, and health is the key for them. I mean, Derwin James is always hurt. We'll see, but
on paper they're stacked. They are stacked on paper.
Especially after this offseason. I mean, you had J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, and Sebastian Joseph Day is really good. They went and drafted, what was it, Trey Smith they got? Or Troy Smith?
Trey Smith.
Was it Trey Smith? No.
Right.
It's the Texas A&M guy, right?
Oh,
No, not DeMarvin Leal. The O-lineman. Why am I blank?
Kenyon Green. No, it wasn't Kenyon.
Kenyon Green.
No, Kenyon Green was drafted by. Yeah, he was drafted by the Chargers. Yeah.
No, he plays for Houston.
That's what I thought because they traded back with the Eagles at 15.
What did the Chargers draft? They drafted a guard.
Zion Johnson. Yeah. Zion Johnson.
He's good.
But we'll see if he's
good. But like at the end of the day, the AFC is so interesting because like last year the Bengals came out of it, and no one would consider the Bengals the top team in the AFC. So it's like.
That was
the AFC, like, dude, the quarterbacks in this conference is just insane.
The Chiefs really should be back-to-back champs. Now that you really just reminded me, like, they just had a massive choke job, man. Holy Christ.
Yeah, but would they have beaten the Rams?
Probably. The Rams weren't exactly.
That Rams defense is something that.
The Chiefs were, like, considerably better than the Bengals, though, no?
That Chiefs offense was just so good, but I can't believe they're going to be without Tyreek Hill.
We'll see. We'll see how good Mahomes. I mean, I think Mahomes is the best QB in the NFL by a wide margin.
I agree. I think he disappeared in that second half, though.
Their whole team did.
Uncharacteristic of him, and it's not even. I wouldn't say it's all his fault because I mean he missed some throws, but guys just were not getting open at all.
Yeah, that Kelsey drop on the first drive of the.
It just set the tone. Yeah, I know. What set the tone was that stupid 4th and goal in the end of the first half or whatever. Where Tyreek Hill got like ditched by Eli Apple.
Just kick the ball or run it.
Yeah. So stupid. All right. Well, we're rambling on here. We've been rambling on for like 15 minutes now. So if you're somehow still watching, thank you for watching this episode of Outside the Arena. We appreciate all the support recently. I know the channel's been doing really well. Views are up, subscribers are up. So we appreciate it all. Make sure to, continue to like, comment, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Follow us on Instagram and Outside the Arena Podcast. Follow our Instagrams. That'll be in the description. With that, thank you. Why did 4 Rob Goldbergers just join? That is so weird.
I think that's probably because I was trying to join from my computer earlier, remember? Yeah. All right.
Thank you guys for watching. Awesome. We'll see y'all next week.